It's beginning with finding the right people to handle what you've already mastered. And then you can then go and spend time in building these other verticals. And that's what I did. And now I'm proud to say that we represent properties that are from 400,000 up to 30 million. I primarily handle 3 million and above in the Nashville market. And, we do a ton of like farm and estates to penthouses downtown. We have developments. And I and the proud team leading 12 real estate ninjas, all female team here in Nashville. And we outproduce teams that have 35 agents.
Welcome to the Real Freedom Show, where we inspire you to pursue your passion to gain time and financial freedom through opportunities in real estate. I'm your host, Mike Swenson. Let's get some real freedom together. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Real Freedom, where we talk about real estate leverage freedom, how you can build time and financial freedom through different opportunities in real estate. I'm your host, Mike Swenson. If you want to get started on your real estate journey, check out our website, freedomthroughrealestate.com. We have all of our content that we put on there, really to inspire you based on the stories we have on our podcast, the blogs you can read to help you figure out what's going to be a good fit for you in this entrepreneurial playground that we have that is real estate. And so today, super excited to share with you, we've got Erin Krueger here. Erin is a top agent in the Nashville area, runs one of the top teams, and also invests in real estate, which we'll dig into as well, and also is an author of a book, Capture the Culture, which just released here this year. And so, Erin, we're so excited to have you on the show and to be able to share your story and your journey in real estate.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you having me on.
So why don't you just take us back a little bit before you got into real estate and then take it from there.
I, like many people, never thought I was going to be a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of found me. I was in corporate and I was in marketing and advertising. And one day my boss wanted me to plagiarize a competitor's commercial. And I just wasn't okay with it. And he wasn't taking no for an answer. He was throwing more and more bonuses and things my way. And I just kind of had to choose a road that I was going to go down, and it was not going to be the unethical one. And I just said, you'll have my resignation by the end of the day. And I walked down the hallway and he said, what are you going to do? And I don't know what came over me, but I said, I'm going to go into real estate. And, it has been probably the best decision of my entire life. What I love so much about real estate is that it is what you put into it, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
no cap on what you can do, the people that you can meet, the specialties that you can learn and become an expert in. And that one thing that I absolutely love about it is that no day is the same. And
Mm-hmm.
so as somebody who does have an entrepreneurial heart, I think as entrepreneurs, we get bored when we do the same thing. I mean, I also, during the recession, I went, I was a real estate agent, and I put myself through to get my MBA. And I didn't do that to get, a raise from my boss. I was my own boss, right? But knowledge is power, and I wanted to be better, and I wanted to learn more. And I just think that, like, everything that you kind of take on is just like an opportunity to be wiser. Even if you fail forward. And I think that's a lot of what this career has given me. And so I wrote a book over the past year called Capture the Culture. And, I have an amazing team, but that wasn't the road that I was down. I never wanted to even have a team when I was in real estate. I was a solo agent and wanting to do my things my way. But sometimes when you're successful and you want to be able to do good work, you want to keep up with everything, you need help. And it's like, how do you find these people, right? How do you keep these people happy? And how do these people stay so motivated that they perform like you would? And so
Mm-hmm.
I really wrote this book to help a lot of team leaders that are struggling. I know that I speak to a lot of team leaders and I coach a lot of people, and it's just like they can't retain them. Like, it's the value component, it's the educational component. And I think if it doesn't matter if you're a real estate team lead, if you are a team lead of a pharmaceutical sales team, whatever it is, culture is your number one asset in everything that you do. And so I think a lot of people put so much pressure on performance, 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 numbers, 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 and they forget about making sure the culture is right. Because if the culture is right, you're going to be so much happier. Your clients are going to feel it and their performance is going to 10x.
It's fun to hear you talk about just as an entrepreneur in real estate, there's so many things that you can do. And I know for me, I was actually an entrepreneurship major in college, and it took me 10 years to start my own thing or to get into, real estate. And now you look back and it's like there's so many things that you can do inside of real estate. And I love how you can bet on yourself. I love how you don't have to worry, depending on your role. A lot of times you have freedom where you don't have to put in, time off requests and things like that, or, being able to pick up your kids after school and have that adjustment. Now, at the same time, you also can work 24/7. And so there's the flip side of that. Instead of working 9 to 5, you decided to quit and, become an entrepreneur and work 24/7. But there's so many fun things that you can do inside of real estate. So we just talk a little bit as we get started here about the early years for you, your journey of, okay, now you're in real estate after you resigned abruptly, and now, okay, shoot, what do I do, and how do I get started, and how do I get some momentum in this business?
Right. So the first phone call I made was to the woman who sold me my townhouse. I was in my 20s when all of this happened. And I called her and I said, Susan, I need a mentor. Will you mentor me? Right. And she said, of course. And I worked under her for 6 months and she was amazing. She just taught me so much. She has since retired, obviously, this because I've now been in the business for 20 years, and she refers all her business to me now, right? Her succession plan was to give everything to me, even though I was only with her for 6 months. And she just really taught me the ropes. And then I went out on my own. My first deal in Nashville was 800,000. That was considered luxury back then. My next transaction was 80,000. And then the recession hit. And so it was a really rude awakening. And so, and now, I've kind of decided to just be a very strategic agent and I wanted to be able to be very diversified. I didn't want to lock into one generalization. I wanted to be able to offer a lot. So I want to be able to be that agent for your first home, your investment home, your dream home. If you have a commercial building, like we want to be able to take care of you. We want you to come to us so we can get you with the right person. We want to be that real estate advisor. So I really wanted to have this advisory set up. And I just put all these different verticals and I'm a big person on to be speaking affirmations and putting it out there. It makes it real when you kind of say it to your team members. I remember walking into one of my team meetings and we were really heavy on the investor side. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall, right? We had all of our eggs in the basket of the investors. And sometimes that stuff is going to dry up, right? And you don't want to be, certainly in COVID, they canceled 80 contracts, in one day. It's a lot of commission. It's a lot of dollars. And so
Mm-hmm.
you just don't want to do that. And so I saw the writing on the wall and I wanted to have, a builder and developer division. I wanted to have a relocation division. I wanted to have a luxury division. But I really didn't have, all of those contacts. So it's like, where do you begin? It's beginning with finding the right people to handle what you've already mastered. And then you can then go and spend time in building these other verticals. And that's what I did. And now I'm proud to say that we represent properties that are from 400,000 up to 30 million. I primarily handle 3 million and above in the Nashville market. And, we do a ton of like farm and estates to penthouses downtown. We have developments. And I am the proud team lead, leading 12 real estate ninjas, all female team here in Nashville. And we outproduce teams that have 35 agents.
Now, you did talk about leading with great people as well, but for somebody that's looking to grow a business or grow a real estate team, you need those key people in those key spots for you to, because everything, while real estate's still real estate, there's a certain level of skill to some of these different verticals. And so, how did you work on kind of balancing not getting spread too thin and not chasing a ton of shiny pennies at once?
Yeah, great question. So really, we mastered the investment division, right? And there were agents that worked under me. So I really believe in bringing up team members, right? You're not just an agent, you're going to run a division kind of deal. There's like a promotion thing where people feel ownership and they feel pride in that ownership. And so that's what I did. I promoted those that were working with me in the investor thing where I knew they were already going to continue to run the ship that the way that I had already set up systems and processes. So that was handling on its own. That allowed me to free up time to have meetings with developers. And I didn't go after the big guys at first, right? I went
Mm-hmm.
for the developer that was starting out with a 2 build and a 4 build and stuff like that. And now I've got the big, 500 unit builds and stuff like that. So it doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with doing a really good job with somebody who's also hungry and starting out. And then you get their business and they're growing and you're part of that. And then they tell their friends that are in the same investment, mastermind group. And then you pick them up. And I started that way with little guys. And now I have big guys. And some of those little guys are big guys now. And
Mm-hmm.
so you kind of learn the ropes. But there was a pivotal moment for me in my business where during COVID, I saw that so many people were coming to our website. And I went back to my website guy and I said, listen, years ago, I went to a 10X conference in Miami and I heard about ClickFunnels and I bought the package, but we didn't execute well. We didn't implement it well. But I really feel that like all these people from California and Chicago are coming to my website. Nashville's a hot button. And so how can we capitalize on them? I think ClickFunnels are the way to do it, but I need to execute the right way. And with my website guy partner, we kind of restructured ads. We ran 20 different ads, saw what worked, whittled it down to five, and the theme was the same. The question, the ad was the same. The pictures were different, right? We wanted to see what evoked a click, what evoked conversion, if you will. And it was, why are all the Californians moving to Nashville? They would click it, top 10 reasons why. Here it is, everything from, no state income tax, low property tax to Nashville hot chicken, Southern hospitality, you name it. It's all down there. Click here for your free relocation guide. They would click it and my agents, it's first to grab the lead. My agents would be on it. They would be converting them. And these leads were not $500,000 leads. These were 2 million, 3 million, $5 million leads.
Mm-hmm.
Now we had the luxury buyers that were coming in. We were putting money behind it in these different areas of the country. And we continued to do this. We're still doing it to this day. And because we spent so much and we have been so consistent, up and down California, up and down different areas of the country. I will be coming up organically now, as that source because of my spend on Meta and Google over the years. That choice of diving into my data and knowing my numbers was a complete game changer for my relocation division.
Mm-hmm.
So, you got the investor division, you've got the developer builder division, you got the relocation division, right? So now through the relocation division, now we have all these high-end buyers. Well, when you start closing out a lot of these high-end buyers, you're now invited to the table for high-end listings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, put me in, coach. I just need an opportunity. I'm never going to be the smartest person in the room, but I will outwork anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what ended up happening. I ended up bringing the fact that I can reach the high-end buyer. I use that as my advantage. And I was not only invited into these rooms for these listings, sometimes I was not competing against anybody. I love to compete. I loved when I'm up against other people, keeps you fresh, keeps you, up on everything. But, you know, I was brought into huge opportunities and I was constantly hitting records and breaking things, all of these things. And we became, you know, one of the premier teams for luxury. And so that built my luxury business. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think like, thinking about where you want to be, what these verticals look like, who are the people that you want to have on your team? How do they respond? What do the systems and processes look? I mean, that's the mindset of an entrepreneur, right? A growth mindset. Um, you know, I don't know what it is, but I'm just not one of those people that like likes to rest. I love what I do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love to go on vacation and travel with my husband, and don't get me wrong on that type of stuff. When I'm off, I'm off. but I also love what I do. Like I think about like a new marketing. I have a marketing manager. She's in charge of that. But of course, like I'll see something on TikTok or I'll see something on Instagram. I'll send it to her. Like, this is so cool. What do you think? And then she's on it and going off on a tangent to, do something. It's like we get excited about it. And I think our passion and our enthusiasm for what we do, whether it's helping somebody relocate, working with a developer on a new project, or somebody in the ultra high wealth, people want to be surrounded by people that are positive and passionate about what they're doing. And
Mhm.
every single day, I'm very thankful and very grateful that I'm able to do what I do. And I think that comes off, and people want to be surrounded by that.
Are you looking to get started or scale in real estate investing but don't know your next step? Are you overwhelmed thinking about finding deals, analyzing deals, doing due diligence, and managing properties on top of it? Go ahead and push the easy button and invest with us. Real estate investing is what we do full time. We've done dozens of deals with hundreds of doors. We have the knowledge and experience to handpick the best deals that most investors can't find. We vet large off-market deals all the time where you can hopefully find returns and economies of scale that you just can't find on your own. The best thing is it's 100% passive to you for less capital than you put down trying to acquire a property on your own. Don't let this year go by where you don't make the leap, add to your portfolio, or you just sit in analysis by paralysis. To find out more, visit freedomthroughrealestate.com and click on invest. You can book a call and learn more there. So get to scaling your portfolio now with us by your side. That's freedomthroughrealestate.com and click on invest. Now, in real estate, it's sometimes challenging to get agents to join your team and keep agents, right? Because we know there's 80% of agents don't make it more than 2 years in real estate. But you've talked about your team of 12 that have been on the team for a long time. Obviously, you guys have a great culture, which is a special weapon that you guys have. But talk about that process of building and growing the team and attracting the right agents that want to be on your team and stay on your team.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing. So I'm really focused on what I call culture fit hiring. And for me, it's not about having a lot of Erin Krugers. I don't want that. I think that I would go personally crazy if I had all that. But what I'm looking for are people that have like the right kind of hustle, right? That have a positive attitude, who want to treat my clients how I would want to be treated as well. Like I have a certain way that I do things. And I think that, you know, clients as more successful as I get and my time gets very limited on other projects, I need to make sure that my team members are able to handle clients that I worked with 5 years ago the same way. Like the worst thing that we could do is say, they're not as good as Erin, right? I need them to call me and be like, George is amazing. I love her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And they might love her more, and that's okay. I'm totally cool with it, right? That's what a team is. And I think for me, I take a long time to hire. I just do it. I
Mm-hmm.
just don't really care like how long, like if you want to be a part of this team, we do a lot of cool things together. We share our wins, we share our lessons learned. Like we grow, we're like committed to that. I want somebody who's coachable and has a growth mindset. Like those are really
Mm-hmm.
important things to me. But I think that I have the fail-proof interview system. And I really talk about that in my book, Capture the Culture, because I used to make a lot of mistakes. Like I would be like, "You have a pulse mic? Welcome to the Erin Krueger team." Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't do that. I can't do that anymore. Time is valuable. I really have to be careful on who I hire. I have to be very slow to hire, quick to fire. And so we do a series of tests. And so it all starts with the application, right? My director of ops puts out the job description out there, and there's a test in the job description. It says send in your resume to my director of ops and also attach the results of your DISC profile. There's no hyperlink in there that tells you where to go for your DISC profile. We do not want you calling us or emailing us asking where to get the DISC profile. It's called problem solving, and use Google, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, right there. Are they going to be the type of person that's always coming to you for 50 million questions, right? Or are they going to be
Mm-hmm.
a problem solver and just figure it out? So that's the first test. The second test is they go in front of Sarah, who's my director of ops, and she, will go through all of the applications. And say we get for a buyer agent position, we might get 25, 30 applications. She'll whittle it down to probably 12, 10 or 12 people to interview after she looks at their DISC profile and everything. And then she'll see like, who's coachable, like who's open to feedback. Like, what are these people like? Are they going to get along with everybody on our team? I mean, I have people from 23 to 62 on my team, but when they get together, it's pure magic, you know? And
Hmm.
so I just want to make sure that there's not going to be a negative Nelly or a negative Nathan in the bunch. Like, it's all about positivity and a really good attitude. And then Sarah narrows it down and she'll put three people in front of me. And we have a typical interview. I ask a lot of questions, and in the book, I give you those questions, and there's some psychology behind it. But then I end with this question. Goals are really important to me. So tonight, Mike, send me an email and let me know what goals would be so important for you to hit if you were asked to be on this team and you're sitting across from me a year later. What goals would you be so proud of? Okay.
Hmm.
Mike, did you notice that I said, send me an email tonight?
Hmm.
Okay, a lot of people won't because their listening skills aren't sharp. And I
Yeah.
really feel that the number one skill in real estate that you need to have is listening.
Yeah.
Because if you're not listening to me, you probably are not going to be listening to my client. And you might miss that vital piece of information. And people need to feel heard.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I wait to see if they send me the email tonight. So even if they're lovely and I think they're amazing and they send it 2 or 3 days later, they're off the list.
Hmm.
That has really been a foolproof method for me to be able to see if people really truly care. Because if they really, really want the job, they're going to be listening. They're going to be ready. They're going to rise to the challenge. They're going to go ahead and do the work. And I really don't care what's on their goal list, right? Like, yes, I'm
Hmm.
reading it, but it's more about the action of doing it, right? Some people will write a thesis. Some people will have bullet points, right? I don't care
Hmm.
about any of that stuff. I just want to know that you heard me and you did the work, right?
Yeah.
Then I take those people, and if none of them do it, we start over again, right? But if I really like some people, I'll put them in front of the team. And I'll put, if it's a buyer agent position, I put them in front of all the agents and I have them interview them. And I say, interview them as much as they're interviewing you. And I say,
Hmm.
ask them about how it's to work for Erin, the good, bad, and ugly. Because if we choose you, we invest in you and we want you to be super successful. And the rule on my team with my agents is there's no peanut gallery conversations after the interview. You are to text Sarah, my director of ops, and myself, yes or no, and why. And it has to be 100% buy-in. And the
Hmm.
reason why I have 100% buy-in, as I have gotten older in my career, I've learned that I can't be saddled up with the new agent every day like some of my senior agents were. Now it's time for my agents to rise up as mentors and teachers and coaches, right? It's all about the promotion, right? Nobody's a junior agent forever. And if you are, you get rid of them on your team, right? Everybody
Hmm.
needs to do progress. Everybody's getting better every single day. And it's now time for them to step up and teach the younger generation that we're bringing up because they've already been given the tools, right?
Hmm.
So I think it's all about empowerment and being part of something bigger than each other. And that's really our secret to success. And that allows us to hire on culture fit hiring. And that might take a 2 month process to find the right person. And it's worth it because they stay.
Yeah, and I think that the key is you've already built something that people want to be a part of,
Right.
and it's not like you said earlier where it's, hey, do you have a pulse? Because that is how a lot of agents and brokers treat recruiting. But you are building a team, and it's a starting roster spot, not just I'm on the roster. And so you're choosing great people that are going to have a key role than just shotgun approach. So.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people also think to themselves, oh, I'm going to get on the Erin Krueger team and we get leads every day. I mean, tons of leads in every day. And I'm going to get leads right off the bat. No, you're not. And I don't care if you've been in the business for 10 years, 15 years, or 10 minutes off the real estate school boat, right? Like you have to learn how to script. You have to be committed to following our processes and systems. And there are some people, it takes them 30 days and they're already on leads. There are some people it takes 6 months to be on leads. And I'm giving constructive feedback and we have a couple meetings throughout the week. And it's so funny, Mike. I will all of a sudden in the middle of a meeting, I'll go, ring, ring, Mike. And you can just see the blood rush from their face because now you're going to role play with the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And right there in front of the entire team, we shift to role playing. And I'm the buyer, and they have to convert me from either a
Mm-hmm.
sign call or an open house situation or something like that. And my thought with that is if they can do that flawlessly with me and all of these team members watching them, when it's just them and the client, they're going to be unbeatable. They're going to be
Mm-hmm.
a master converter. And Lisa on my team says this to this day that she used to dread that ring, but now she can walk into any listing, any buyer console and own it and own any objection thrown her way. And that the confidence has allowed her to be a very successful agent.
You certainly don't want to be practicing with live ammo because that's when it really matters, right? So it's better to practice in front of you than to screw it up an appointment and blow a listing or blow a buyer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're
Mhm.
here to make them successful. We're not here to, throw them to the wolves. We want to make sure that when they're ready to go, that they're fully committed and they're also fully equipped.
Now, you talked about you've built a great business, you're building a great team. So you also have another avenue, which is investing. With all the experience that you have, you talked about, wanting to put more eggs into the investing basket. So talk about that and your journey on the investing side of it.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, there's no cap to real estate and what you can do. And I'm a really big person obviously into goals. And so I've always had the goal of, it would be great if I could somehow create enough income where I made more income with my real estate investments than my actual commissions, right? What that allows us as real estate professionals is the like freedom, right? The ability to be able to say, you know what? I don't need that listing in a soft market that probably isn't going to sell because the sellers aren't motivated and they're not taking care of their home, right? It's the power of being able to say no and being okay with it. And so years and years and years ago, when I started to make some serious money in real estate, I just was like, okay, let's be smart about it. I grew up on a farm and I always saw my dad buying, real estate. And I was like, I think that there is a pathway for, not always relying on ordinary income, right? Our commission. And so I just decided to invest in units and doors, as I like to say, so
Mhm.
doors. So whether that's in smaller apartment buildings, so I own a couple apartment buildings. I own some duplexes, some single family homes. I've got some short-term rental properties that you and I were kind of talking about before we even went on air. And what I focused on was more of like the destination. So like some are at the ocean and the beach, some are in the mountains. One is in the lake house, like that kind of thing. And so just different properties like that. So I really like to be diversified when it comes to that. And I have quite a few doors now. And, every year, gosh, probably over the last 10 years, I've really focused on buying anywhere from 3 to 10 properties a year. And
Mhm.
it has just been something that has been really, really life-changing for me. And also really helped, um, my team members too, because a lot of these women come in and in real estate, we don't have retirement plans, right? We're working for ourselves. And even the agents that are on my team, they're micro businesses within my business. And so they really have to like look at like how they can harness real estate as a powerful investment for them. And so I've really focused on even helping and mentoring my team members on how to create wealth through owning real estate. And it's really been a
Mhm.
beautiful thing. I mean, I had a team member who was brokenhearted after a divorce, his confidence completely crushed. She's with me for 10 years and now she's a killer buyer's agent and just a boss lady, has tons of investments, cash paid her daughter's wedding when the husband was acting up, the ex-husband was acting up, and it's just like there's the freedom of being able to stand on your own 2 feet, and just being like, you know what, I've got this. And I think that's
Mhm.
a really powerful thing that real estate allows us to do. And it's something that I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, my thought always was, when I was running our team and hiring agents is, if an agent were to leave our team, are they in a better spot than they were when they joined? And if that agent isn't going to leave our team until the day they die or until the day they retire, then we are responsible for what is that retirement plan or what is that future plan for them. And so that's where I started putting more eggs into the investment basket, because it's the joke where agents are like, oh, I'm going to work until the day I die. And that's funny. Many people will do that because they like to, but I think many people are doing that because they have to,
Yeah,
because they
they make
don't
money.
have another plan. And so being able to put some eggs into the investment basket allows you to have the choice of, if I work till the day I die, it's because I want to, not because I have to.
Absolutely. There's a lot of power in that and a lot of freedom in that.
Erin, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. We covered quite a bit. Obviously, there's a lot of great stuff in your book, which you alluded to, quite a few things throughout the interview. But for people that want to reach out to you, learn more about the book, how can they do so?
Yeah, so you guys can follow me at the Erin Krueger team on Instagram. But I think some team leads that are maybe listening might get some free useful quizzes and tools at capture-the-culture.com. There are so many quizzes there, including surveys that you can even give your own team to kind of figure out where the culture currently is in your business, because sometimes there's team leads that think it's a great culture, but if you ask their team members, they're like, not so much. So sometimes we have to know where we need to, like where we are to figure out where we need to be and create a
Hmm.
plan. So there's a lot of free tools that can be downloaded there that can help a lot of team leaders. But if anybody has anybody in Nashville that is looking to move, we'd be glad to help them.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. Excited to see what you've built, and obviously it's been a long time, so it's not just a year or two here that you've been at this. But yeah, you've certainly built a business to be proud of, a culture to be proud of, and so excited to see where you guys continue to grow in the future.
Thanks, Mike.